Hello, everyone, and Scotty Kilmer fans. Today we're going to review one of his videos. His video is the 5 things you should never do in an automatic transmission car. And I'm going to link to Scotty's original video down below in the comments. So please watch it, the original one, if you haven't seen it yet. I'm going to provide my commentary, maybe a little twist on it, and also let me know what you think and whether you have done any of these things he's suggesting you should never do in an automatic transmission car.
Today I'm going to talk about the top 5 things you should never do to your automatic transmission if you want it to last. Now, automatic transmissions like this Honda cost a lot of money to fix if they go bad. Rebuild them can cost $3,000, $4,000, even $5,000. So you want to take care of them, and I'm going to show you 5 things that you never want to do with them. Now, you never want to drive an automatic car through deep water, and here's why. You see that little black piece right there? Well, this black piece right here that I'm tapping, that's a vent. You have to have vents on automatic transmissions as the fluid gets hot and expands and contracts to release pressure. And if you go through water, that will suck water into the transmission.
It's almost like your water heater where you've got that relief valve that will allow an excess amount of pressure to escape. So, and I'm wondering now, for those people who drive their off-road vehicles that are maybe not as off-road as they think they are into deep water, you see those videos all the time, whether they have one of these vents and whether they're getting it submersed. And if you're one of those people, maybe you should check into that.
And the second thing never to do is never accidentally have your car go from drive into reverse while the car's moving. Now, this Honda's a better design. The shifter's on the dash. That's kind of hard to do. But a lot of cars have them down on the bottom down here. So if yours is like this, make sure you don't accidentally hit it and rip it into reverse while you're driving down the road, because it will destroy the transmission. All
right, I did that. Sorry about the little speed up there. I was about 18 years old. I had my first car. It was a Mustang 1978 Cobra, and I was going down a steep hill, and I put it into neutral so I could just coast down the hill. And then I accidentally hit it. I'm doing probably good like 50 miles an hour. I accidentally pushed it forward again and into reverse. The tires locked up. It chirped, and I immediately, it was not even a second, I pulled it back into neutral. But it was a scary moment, and I was hoping I didn't do any damage. But I've done this.
Now, the next thing not to do with an automatic transmission car is leave it in drive if you're idling for a really long period of time. Because leaving it in drive if you're idling for a long time, that can lead to overheating of the inside of the transmission. If you're going to be sitting there for a really long time, just shut the car off, or at least put it into park.
All right, so, I didn't know that it's bad for the car, but I've definitely, while sitting at a traffic light that I know is going to take a while, don't put it in park, and I definitely don't turn the engine off. But I've often put it in neutral, and then just pop it back into gear when the light turns green, and that just means that you're not as heavy on the brake as you would if you were sitting there in drive. So I've done that often, but I always put it into neutral, not park.
Next bad thing not to do with your automatic transmission is don't go around doing burnouts all the time. Doing burnouts is one of the worst things you can do for an automatic transmission.
Well, Scotty should have told me that when I was 17 years old, because in that same Mustang I was talking about had a really amazing 302 motor in it, and I was doing neutral drops, and not just burnouts, but leaving it in neutral, which some of you know exactly what I'm talking about, revving it up, and then without taking your foot off the gas, jamming it into drive, and the tires immediately light up. And I remember, at one point, and movie let out, I was in the movie with a friend of mine, and we're in the parking lot, and I did one of those neutral drops and smoked the tires all the way down the parking lot. The whole place just stopped and was looking. I can't imagine what kind of damage I was potentially doing to the transmission, but yeah, it's not good if you do that.
Of course, burnouts aren't good for any car. I know you're going to say, oh, Scotty, you're always having pictures of burnouts. Well, those are standard transmission cars. That's not that great for them, but hey, you're just going to end up burning out the clutch, which is a lot cheaper than replacing the whole transmission. Now, the last thing not to do has to do with your automatic transmission fluid. If you have a later model car, don't listen to this nonsense. This says no need to replace ATF under normal driving conditions. That's a bunch of nonsense. No, I've dealt with that in a recent video. It just basically says, oh, the fluid's good for the lifetime of the transmission, but then the lifetime of the transmission is less and less and less because you don't want dirty fluid in. You want to change it regularly.
Yeah, so it all depends on how he defines changing it regularly. You're not changing it often like you would your oil, and I think he might tell us how often you should do it. And even if you don't, your transmission is going to tell you one day. It's going to start acting up, and then that's the time. You shouldn't wait till then, but you're not going to be able to drive your car the entire time because things will start to happen. You'll feel some slippage, or who knows what else, or it's not shifting to the next gear the way it should. There are going to be some signs that it's going to tell you something's wrong with your transmission. And rather than have an auto place just take you for a ride, just take it in and just ask for the transmission fluid change.
Modern cars use synthetic fluid that can handle heat better and break down less, but eventually it does break down. I still say change your transmission fluid every 60 to 80,000 miles, regardless of what these ridiculous directions say. Realize, if you take care of your transmission, it can take care of you. This Honda has been taken care of. It's got 195,000 miles.
Well, depends on what he means, take care of you. Like if I'm 85 years old in a nursing home, and is he going to change? The transmission is not going to change my diapers at that point, but if he means it's going to help the car last, then I would agree with that.
And even though Hondas have relatively weak automatic transmission, this one is still shifting fine. So now you know what the top 5 things you shouldn't be doing to your transmission are to make it last as long as it possibly can. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.
All right, Scotty's always entertaining. Hopefully, this was entertaining for you too, and would love to get your comments. Like I said earlier, love to have your comments on what you think about the video, on what your comments are about my comments and my reaction to it. I think I'm going to do some more of these reaction videos to other DIY channels out there. Appreciate you watching, everyone, and share this one with your friends. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon, everybody.